Nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this coming. DJ Mustard, the hitmaker known for his swagger, his confidence, and his ability to turn any track into a club anthem, stood on stage in front of tens of thousands of fans and broke down in tears. Not just a few tears, we're talking about a full, unstoppable emotional release that left the entire stadium stunned. This wasn't just a show. This was the final night of a life-changing 39 sold-out stadium tour with Kendrick Lamar and SZA. A tour so massive, so historic, that it didn't just change the game, it changed Mustard's life forever. Fans watched in disbelief as the man who had given them banger after banger dropped his mic mid-sentence, covered his face, and tried to hold it together, but couldn't. And then, in between the sobs, he said something into the mic that set the internet on fire. But here's the thing, that emotional outburst, it wasn't just about the music, because what Mustard revealed next has fans wondering if this tour might have been his last one ever. And when you hear why, you might not blame him. DJ Mustard's journey to that tear-soaked, acute, unforgettable stadium moment didn't happen overnight. In fact, if you rewind just a few years, you'd find him grinding in the studio, producing hit after hit, but still feeling like something was missing. He had the awards, the platinum plaques, the respect of the industry, yet the kind of legacy-defining moment that cements an artist's place in history that had eluded him. Then came the phone call. It wasn't from his manager. It wasn't even from a label exec. No, it was Kendrick Lamar himself. According to insiders, Kendrick reached out personally after listening to a string of unreleased beats from Mustard. "I need you on this," Kendrick allegedly told him. Not just for a track, for the whole vision. And when Kendrick says vision, you listen. The idea? A stadium tour that would redefine the meaning of live hip-hop. Not a collection of random shows, but an intricately crafted cinematic experience. Every light, every sound, every movement telling a story. SZA was brought in almost immediately, and from that moment, the trio began crafting what would become one of the most ambitious tours in modern music history. For Mustard, wasn't just another gig. This was validation. He'd been called underrated for years, his genius often hidden behind the artists he produced for. But on this tour, he wouldn't just be in the background, he'd be front and center, shaping the sonic landscape that would carry Kendrick's words and SZA's melodies into the hearts of millions. The first show in Los Angeles set the tone. As the lights went down and the first bass hit, you could feel the ground shake. It wasn't just volume, it was energy, raw and unfiltered. Fans reported goosebumps from the very first minute. Mustard, standing behind his rig, locked eyes with Kendrick, and there was this unspoken acknowledgement. We're making history tonight. City after city, the momentum grew. The shows weren't just selling out, they were doing it in record time. By the halfway mark, the tour had already broken pre-sale records in multiple countries. But it wasn't the ticket sales that meant the most to Mustard. It was the connection. He started noticing fans who had traveled across multiple states just to see the show again. People in tears, holding up signs thanking him for changing their lives through music. Entire families bringing their kids to experience their first concert and leaving with memories they'd never forget. But behind the scenes, the pressure was immense. Keeping a production of this scale running smoothly across 39 massive stadiums isn't easy. There were nights when equipment failed minutes before showtime, when crew members fell sick, and when last-minute setlist changes threw everyone into chaos. And yet, through it all, Mustard became the glue. He wasn't just delivering beats. He was leading, encouraging, and making sure the show's heartbeat never faltered. Kendrick reportedly told a friend, this tour wouldn't work without him. He's the backbone. So by the time they reached that final city, the 39th stop on a tour that had spanned continents, Mustard was running on pure adrenaline and emotion. He'd poured every ounce of himself into this journey. Every late-night rehearsal, every problem solved, every beat dropped at just the right moment, had led to this dot, and when the final song played and the crowd roared louder than anything he'd ever heard in his life, something inside him broke. Not in a bad way, in a human way. He wasn't just hearing applause. He was hearing years of struggle, sacrifice, and sleepless nights pay off all at once. So when the tears came, they didn't stop. And when he grabbed the mic to speak, the crowd leaned in, sensing something important was about to happen. But what? Mustard said next. No one saw coming. Because it wasn't just a thank you speech. It was a confession, one that hinted at a much bigger, much more personal story that had been unfolding quietly behind the scenes this whole time. The crowd was still screaming, the last notes of Kendrick's verse echoing through the stadium. When DJ Mustard lifted the mic with shaking hands, his voice cracked immediately, not from exhaustion, but from the weight of what he was about to say. "I need to tell y'all something," he began, his eyes scanning the endless sea of faces. "Something I've been holding in this entire tour." You could feel the air shift. The roar of 70,000 people dulled into a tense, almost eerie silence. Even Kendrick and SZA, still catching their breath from the set, turned to face him, eyebrows raised. Mustard took a deep breath, gripping the mic so tightly his knuckles whitened. "This wasn't just music for me," he said slowly. "Every night on this stage, I was fighting something y'all couldn't see." At that moment, social media lit up. Fans in the stadium whipped out their phones, recording from every angle. On Twitter, posts started pouring in. Y.O. Mustard just said he was fighting something during the whole tour. What does that mean? This is about to get real. Why do I feel like this man is about to break the internet? He wiped his face, trying to steady his voice. "When we started this tour, Kai got news that almost made me walk away from everything. I was ready to cancel, ready to disappear. But Kendrick," he pointed toward him, "and SZA, they wouldn't let me. They told me I had to keep going." The crowd was locked in, hanging on every syllable. Then came the bombshell. "I've been dealing with a health situation," Mustard revealed. "Something serious. The doctors told me this could be my last time ever doing something like this." Gasps. Actual gasps echoed across the stadium. Fans clapped their hands over their mouths, some visibly tearing up. Even Kendrick looked stunned, his usual stoic expression cracking into pure concern. He continued, his voice breaking. "Every night when I hit that stage, I wasn't just giving you music. I was giving you everything I had left. And I don't know if I'll ever get to do it again." The internet went into a frenzy. Within minutes, hashtags like #PrayForMustard and #MustardForever were trending worldwide. Clips of his confession racked up millions of views in real time. But just when everyone thought they had heard the full story, Mustard twisted the knife. "Some of y'all probably been wondering about those rumors online," he said, pausing as murmurs rippled through the crowd. "The whispers about why I look so stressed, why I missed some after parties, why I didn't do certain interviews." The crowd held its breath. "They're not all lies," he admitted, shaking his head. "Somebody in my own circle, somebody I thought I could trust, has been leaking my personal business to blogs. Stuff about my health, my family, even my bank accounts. And the craziest part, they're out here selling these stories for clout and cash." The stadium erupted, boos, shouts, people yelling, name them. Over and over, Kendrick stepped forward, placing a hand on Mustard's shoulder, but the producer wasn't done. His voice hardened. "I'm not gonna name names tonight, but let me tell you, the industry is full of snakes. And when you're down, that's when they strike the hardest." Insiders later claimed that even backstage, tensions exploded. Crew members were whispering about a certain assistant who had mysteriously been let go mid-tour. There were rumors of a high-profile hip-hop blogger who had paid thousands for exclusive dirt that could only have come from someone close to Mustard. And then came the real twist. Mustard glanced at Kendrick and SZA, then back. At the crowd, the person who betrayed me. They weren't just my friend, they were family. Blood. The audience lost it. Screams, gasps. Even people shouting "new" filled the air. This wasn't just some random associate. This was someone who shared his DNA. Suddenly. Every smile from the tour's behind-the-scenes footage, every casual Instagram post, was being re-examined by fans trying to figure out who it was. And as Mustard wrapped up his speech, he left one final dagger hanging in the air. I'll tell you the rest soon. But just know, when I do, the whole world will see them for who they really are. With that, the music kicked back in. Kendrick dropped into the next track, and the stadium roared again, but the vibe had changed. The celebration now had a layer of tension, mystery, and heartbreak woven through it online. The debate was instant and vicious. Who in Mustard's family would do him like this? Watch it be his cousin who was always in the background. This is about to get messy, and little did anyone know, it was about to get even messier. Because while Mustard was on stage bearing his soul, someone else, possibly the very family member he was talking about, was already posting a cryptic Instagram story. It was aimed directly at him. Backstage, after the performance, the atmosphere was electric but tense. Mustard had just poured his heart out in front of tens of thousands. But the celebration was cut short by a notification storm. Flooding every crew member's phone, someone had posted something. And it wasn't just anyone. The post came from SZA. The post came from a private Instagram account, but screenshots were already spreading like wildfire. The handle? @RealFamiliDali, a username instantly recognized by industry insiders as belonging to Mustard's own cousin, Darius. The story was a simple black background with bold white text that read, "Funny how people play the victim on stage. But don't talk about how they left family in the dirt." Truth coming soon. #FakeLove within seconds, Twitter lit up. "Oh, this just got real, the cousin is talking." He really used the hashtag #FakeLove while Mustard's still crying on stage. This is about to turn into a full-blown family war. As the clip of Mustard's confession replayed on every blog from Hollywood Unlocked to the Shade Room, Darius's post threw gasoline on the fire. Fans began speculating that the leaks Mustard had talked about might not have been out of pure malice. Maybe it was retaliation for something Mustard had done first. But before anyone could calm down, Darius followed up with another post. This time, a blurry photo of what appeared to be a bank transfer screenshot. The caption, "Who's really using who?" It was timestamped just 2 weeks before the tour began. Fans zoomed in, dissecting every pixel, trying to confirm whether the transfer was from Mustard to Darius or the other way around. By midnight, the narrative had split in two. On one side were fans who believed Mustard's emotional speech and saw Darius as a bitter, clout-chasing relative trying to cash in on the moment. On the other were those now questioning everything, wondering if Mustard had painted himself as the victim while leaving out key details. Even fellow celebrities started weighing in. Rapper Ty Dolla Dolla IGN tweeted, "Y'all always believe the loudest voice in the room. Don't forget, there's always two sides." Meanwhile, SZA took to her Instagram story with a cryptic but heartfelt message. "Loyalty isn't about blood. It's about energy. Protect your peace at all costs." Fans instantly read this as a direct shot at Darius and possibly a subtle show of support for Mustard Kendrick. However, stayed silent, posting nothing except a black and white photo of the three of them from the tour. No caption. that only made things more mysterious. By the next morning, the story had hit national outlets. Entertainment Tonight, TMZ, and even Good Morning America ran segments on the Mustard family feud. Analysts on music podcasts were debating whether Mustard's career could survive if the public turned against him, or if the sympathy wave would make him bigger than ever. But then came the real nuclear moment at 3 p.m. A YouTube channel known for exposing celebrity scandals uploaded a video titled Exclusive. Leaked voice notes between DJ Mustard and his cousin Darius. The truth behind the tour, Betrayal the video. Played 3 separate audio clips allegedly of Mustard and Darius arguing over money, contracts, and, shockingly, who really paid for part of the tour production. In one of the clips, a voice sounding like Darius yelled, "You think you the only one who made this happen? Who lined up half your sponsors? Who pulled strings when your label tried to cut your budget?" The alleged Mustard voice fired back, "You did it for a check, not out of love. Don't act like this was charity." The channel claimed the files came from a trusted source, which everyone assumed was Darius himself. Within hours, the video hit 1 million views. Fans flooded the comments section with mixed emotions. If these are real, this is wild. Why would he record his own cousin? This is getting uglier by the hour. Back in Mustard's camp, insiders say the producer was furious. Not only because the audio leaked, but because it was edited. Parts were cut out, and the narrative had been twisted to make him look cold and calculating. And yet, even as his team scrambled to plan a response, Mustard posted nothing. No tweets, no IG stories, just silence. The silence only made things worse. Fans began interpreting it as guilt, while others argued he was taking the high road. The split in public opinion deepened. Some hashtags now read #StandWithMustard, while others declared, #Darius was right. But behind closed doors, damage was spreading because, according to another leak from an anonymous source close to the tour, Darius wasn't the only family member involved. The insider claimed that there was a second relative, one still on Mustard's payroll, who might have helped feed information to Darius, if true. That meant the betrayal was deeper than anyone imagined. And the real snake might still be inside Mustard's camp, smiling in group photos, traveling with them city to city. And the scariest part, fans were starting to suspect exactly who it was, because a single, seemingly innocent backstage photo from last week suddenly started circulating, and in it, standing just 2 feet behind Mustard, was a face that appeared in old Facebook posts tagged with both him and Darius. That face was now being called the Mole. The internet was already sharpening its claws, and Mustard's silence was running out of time. By the time the sun set that evening, the Mustard family feud had gone from a messy personal dispute to a full-blown cultural moment. Twitter Spaces, Instagram Lives, and TikTok Breakdown. Videos were running 24/7, each one claiming to have the real tea on who the Mole was. One TikTok creator, @HipHopHawk, posted a side-by-side comparison of the backstage photo and an old selfie Darius had uploaded years ago, where the Mole was tagged as Kevin L., a distant cousin who, according to old Facebook check-ins, had traveled on tour with Mustard. Before, the video racked up over 3 million views in hours, with captions like, Kevin L., we see you, so this is the dude leaking info. Imagine smiling in group pics while snitching to the ops. But while fans were building their theories, the celebrity world was choosing sides in real time. Cardi B went live on Instagram, sipping tea and smirking as she said, "I don't know the full story, but I do know family'll snake you faster than strangers. Protect your bag, protect your peace." Nicki Minaj, in what fans are calling a possible shade session, posted a cryptic tweet. "It's always the ones in the background. Watch the people holding your water bottle." Meanwhile, Snoop Dogg took the comedic route, uploading a meme of a Thanksgiving dinner table with everyone holding their phones. Captioned, "This what family dinners look like when you famous." The media frenzy intensified. TMZ claimed to have exclusive sources who said Kevin L had not been fired yet, raising questions about whether Mustard was in denial, or if he was strategically keeping Kevin close to figure out how much he really knew. Entertainment Tonight ran a primetime segment dissecting the leaked voice notes, playing slowed-down audio to determine if they were edited. The conclusion? Highly likely. But in the court of public opinion, facts didn't matter. The narrative was already spiraling. Podcasts, from hip-hop analysis shows to mainstream gossip outlets, were devoting entire episodes to the feud. One industry insider told a popular music blog, "If Mustard doesn't address this by Friday, it's gonna define him for the rest of the year." Silence is dangerous right now. Fans weren't just posting reactions, they were organizing. Two major hashtags emerged: hashtag Stand With Mustard and hashtag Team Darius. They became digital battlefields, each side digging up old interviews, photos, and comments to prove their point. On the hashtag Team Darius side, fans resurfaced a 2018 clip where Mustard laughed about cutting off people who can't keep up. They framed it as proof of his cold-hearted nature. On the hashtag Stand With Mustard side, fans were defending him fiercely, pointing to his years of collaborations, charitable donations, and public loyalty to friends in the industry. Even radio DJs were joining in. Big Boy from Big Boy's Neighborhood dedicated a full 10 minutes on air to the topic, saying, "This ain't about just one family. This is a bigger conversation about how fame changes relationships." The music industry itself was watching closely. Rumors began swirling that a major sponsorship deal tied to Mustard's next project was now on pause until the drama settled. But in the middle of all this chaos, one voice broke the noise. Darius himself. He went live on Instagram, and for 47 minutes straight, he alternated between defending himself and promising he had more proof. The most chilling moment came when he looked into the camera and said, "Kevin ain't the only one y'all should be looking at. There's someone even closer. And when I drop these receipts, it's game over for Mustard." That line sent the internet into meltdown. Who could possibly be closer than a cousin on the payroll? A best friend? A business partner? Speculation was now running wild, and the scariest part? Some fans were starting to whisper a name nobody expected, a member of Mustard's own management team. The idea that someone on the inside could be leaking information, all while sitting in on his meetings, planning his tours, and handling his finances was enough to turn the drama from messy gossip into something that could threaten his entire career. And as the night wore on, the mood shifted from entertainment to suspense. Because if Darius was telling the truth, Mustard wasn't just dealing with betrayal. He was living in the middle of an active infiltration, and the next reveal could be catastrophic, just when everyone thought the Mustard family feud had peaked. A late-night leak detonated like a bomb across the internet. At 2:13 a.m., an anonymous Twitter account named @StudioShadow posted a blurry photo of what appeared to be a confidential email, with the sender's name shockingly visible: Maya R., DJ Mustard's own tour manager. The subject line: "Finalized transfer and confidential details. Do not forward." The email was addressed to none other than Kevin L., the alleged mole. And attached were screenshots of setlist changes, contract adjustments, and most damning of all, private financial statements for the entire tour. Within 10 minutes, the tweet had been shared over 40,000 times, with captions like, "Brr." It wasn't just Kevin. This is deep. So his own tour manager was feeding the mole. The snakes were running the ship. Fans couldn't believe it. Maya wasn't just a team member. She was the heartbeat of Mustard's entire operation. She'd been with him for over 6 years, traveling to every city, managing every crisis, guarding his inner circle like a fortress, and now? There was undeniable proof she'd been sending sensitive documents to the very person accused of selling Mustard out by morning. The entire industry was awake and watching. TMZ ran with the headline, DJ Mustard's Inner Circle Compromised Tour Manager Implicated in Massive Leak. The Shade Room followed with a post showing side-by-side photos of Maya and Kevin at a private rooftop party from last summer, standing just a little too close for comfort. The caption read, "So this is why Kevin knew everything before the fans did." Backlash was immediate. Fans flooded Maya's Instagram with snake emojis, calling her the Judas of hip-hop. Others demanded Mustard release a statement immediately. But he stayed silent, only posting a cryptic Instagram story. Even the captain, "Don't see the iceberg till it's too late." That one sentence sent everyone spiraling. Was he admitting he'd been